Boy, we've got an interesting civil war on the right wing. Now, Matt Drudge is a guy who for a long time has led the news media around by the nose. Not just conservatives, but the mainstream media. I remember in the old days, back in '04, for example, the mainstream media was like, of course, we get our news from Matt Drudge. Matt Drudge is an insane conservative. He's not just a little conservative. He's off the deep edge. And he proved it the other day because he did look, he's proved it in 1,000 different ways. But now the mainstream media realize, maybe I have a couple options. A lot of them still link to him because they like the traffic that they get from it. And a lot of them still go and read him to see what's going on. But he's so insanely right-wing that he's even begun to lose some of his conservative supporters now. And part of that has to do with this election, which I'll explain in a second. Part of it is because he's, way over the edge. So when the Dallas shootings happened and all those officers were shot, he immediately came out with a headline on Drudge Report called "Black Lives Kill, 4 Cops Shot Dead in Dallas City in Shock." Okay, so you can tell how early that is because later we found out, of course, there was 5 that were killed. But if you notice at the bottom of the tweet, that's actually tweeted by Michelle Fields, who's another conservative right-wing writer, and she writes this headline, wow. For him to jump in immediately and say, "Black lives kill these cops," it's an outrageous comment, and even other conservatives found it outrageous, and I want to give him credit for that. So then it started spreading around. Noah Rothman, another conservative writer, says, "In moments like these, we should do the opposite of what Drudge is doing, not saying it's right or wrong, merely imprudent." David French, who some suggested might run against Donald Trump, Bill Kristol was trying to get him to do that, another conservative, just said, "I just deleted my Drudge app." Oh, wow. Okay, so now that's them saying, let's be done with Drudge. Getting your news from Drudge is a terrible idea, even if you are very right-wing, because he's misleading you and he's a demagogue. Now, here's another very conservative talk show host from Iowa, Steve Deese, writes in or said, "Drudge isn't a conservative, he's a sensationalist, and right now the sensation is white grievance, politics/populism, so he's parked there." Well, this is a really interesting turn of events within the right wing. So there are some principled conservatives saying, not only, hey, don't jump to conclusions, that's really dangerous and it's a bad situation to try to come in here and do political demagoguery, but that part of that political demagoguery is this whole thing about white grievance. Oh, it's black people's fault, and if you're white, you really should be aggrieved. So that's a bold stance by Steve Deese. It shouldn't be a bold stance. It's very obvious. But in right-wing circles, I think it is. And when they rebel against Drudge, the other thing that happens is that they lose some traffic. That's why for so long they did not do this. And John Ziegler actually wrote a pretty good piece. He's very right-wing. I talked to him here on the Young Turks a long time ago, supported Sarah Palin for a long time. But he's one of the guys who's rebelled against Drudge, saying, look, this guy is in the tank for Donald Trump, and this guy doesn't represent us all. And in fact, when he is seen as a representative of ours, it does us great damage. So a rebellion is afoot, and it is worth noting. Let me give you more. The Stump Trump PAC also tweeted and took that headline and put shame on it. In fact, I think they added this audio.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
I don't think they did that, but it would have been cool if they did. Okay, Crutown 17, they did write shame, though. Crutown 17, another conservative, writes in, "First Drudge Report gave us the real Donald Trump. Now he's trying to create a race war. Enough, you aren't helping." And then look at this, Boycott Drudge begins. So, and then other people jump on him. We go to Benny Palatsek. He writes that my Drudge app was just deleted. Hashtag Boycott Drudge. These are all conservatives. And then another for shame.
Shame.
Okay. Decent people of all races decry death. Indecent people exploit death and incite racism. Wow. We have found them. The principled conservatives in America. But look, so this is interesting for a number of grounds. One, it's great to see conservatives saying, hey, don't do this white grievance nonsense. Don't demagogue. Let's actually look at the facts here and then see where we come out on it. Number two, we got a civil war within the right-wing movement. That's a fascinating development. And of course, I support the principled people. Even if I disagree with them more, I support them if they have real principles. And so that's what American democracy is supposed to be about, fighting back and forth on real issues and policies and not selling out to donors, not doing it for media or fame or links or more traffic, right? So, and then the third thing is, look, obviously, this isn't just conservatives that woke up and grew a conscience and was like, oh, right, why are you being so racist against blacks? So, look, that existed in the Republican Party and in conservative circles for a long time, and there was not an open rebellion towards it. I'm not saying that I'm displeased with it. I'm greatly pleased with it, and I just told you that. But at the same time, a little bit of realpolitik behind it as well. All these people did not support Trump, and they were super angry at the ones who did, including Drudge, Rush Limbaugh, Bill O'Reilly. So that's part of where the schism comes from. And some of the people who didn't support Trump, by the way, are very much principled conservatives, and they know that Trump is an opportunist and not a quote-unquote real conservative. And by the way, some of the people who did not support Trump are corporatists who don't like his anti-corporate, what they perceive to be his anti-corporate positions. So the lines are not exactly crystal clear here. But it's an interesting movement and a schism that has arrived now, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. And also, it's great to have any conservatives for any reason stand up and say, stop the racist demagoguery. So, wonderful. Okay. By the way, I should note for the record, don't get your news from Matt Drudge, who is not giving you real news. The guy, everything has a conservative spin. I mean, to this late date, some mainstream media guys think like, well, I guess he's a little right wing, but I mean, that's news. That's not news. That's just his crazy spin on the news. He's obsessed on racial issues. He's obsessed about the weather for some reason. Okay, and he's a far right winger. I can't believe that some media folks in America haven't figured that out yet. And I know that almost none of them had figured it out back in the dark days when there was almost no liberal voices in the country, or even mainstream media who were anywhere near liberal, even though everybody's, oh, you're so liberal. No, they were taking their news from Matt Drudge. They were nowhere near liberal. Yes, things have gotten better, but now it's time for everybody to discard this useless demagogue.